We begin with team coverage of the first full week of the 57th legislative session. eCapital News Director Sean Ashley goes behind the scenes to detail what budget battles are brewing. O&R's Jason Doyle will focus on the priorities of House and Senate leaders. And Ed Murray begins our coverage with an analysis of Kevin Stitt's goals as he begins his second session as governor.
The buzz is back under the dome, and for Gerard Schaus, it's a good start. He represents 3,000 small business owners as state director of the National Federation of Independent Business.
We feel like the governor ended on a high note when he talked about regulatory reform. That's something very important to our small business owners.
That reform includes an executive order announced by Governor Kevin Stitt in his State of the State address. Its intent, reduce red tape by 25% over the next 3 years.
My executive order will call for the first ever comprehensive review of the state's administrative code and will instruct state agencies to remove 2 regulations for every new one created.
We think that's a very good policy. Sometimes navigating state government and the things that they have to comply with can be difficult and burdensome, and every hour that a small business owner spends on compliance is an hour they're spending away from growing their business.
Calling government bureaucracy our state's biggest challenge, the governor would also like to see more agency consolidation.
Oklahoma has the 20th highest landmass among states, the 28th largest population, and yet we have the 9th most state agencies out of all 50 states. This is unacceptable.
One of the big benefits of consolidation is you get to break down some of those silos that might exist across agencies, so you can increase coordination and communication across those agencies, and that can be improved.
Dr. Justin Wareham is an assistant professor of management at Oklahoma City University's Minders School of Business.
What you have to worry about as a citizen is how is this going to impact me at a local level. The worst case scenario would be to plan a change initiative, roll it out, and then not have the follow through, and it ends up creating more of a mess or less efficiency than what you started with.
Noting the state has 18 entities that license healthcare facilities and providers, the governor is asking the legislature to begin the process of creating one central healthcare agency.
Let's partner together to fully integrate by the year 2022 the functions of the State Department of Health, the Oklahoma Healthcare Authority, the Department of Mental Health, and others, as well as all of the state's licensing boards that deal with health.
Patty Davis is president of the Oklahoma Hospital Association that represents around 130 health systems across the state.
We try not to get too excited when we hear something like this and take a wait-and-see approach and see what this means.
Davis is delighted that lawmakers are talking about Medicaid expansion. The OHA supports expansion through State Question 802. The governor has his own plan.
Preliminarily, there are some things that we have concerns with, and so we will be working through those concerns with our elected leaders.
So tell me what 3 words that we've learned this week.
As usual, education funding will be hotly debated. Raising the cap on the Oklahoma Equal Opportunity Education Scholarship from $5 to $30 million has the governor's support.
Increasing the tax credit cap will provide additional incentives for donors, resulting in more public school grants and private school scholarships.
With the governor talking about vouchers straight off, that makes my usual rosy, optimistic personality a little less than optimistic about the way things are going to be.
Alicia Priest is president of the Oklahoma Education Association.
Our public schools are funded through taxes. That amount of money that's available shrinks because we're giving tax credits away to corporations, private individuals, to give money for these scholarships, vouchers.
Chavis and Sincere Williams were applauded this week for their academic improvement through the scholarship program. They attend Crossover Prep Academy, a tuition-free private all-boys school in North Tulsa. Allegra Williams is their proud mom.
He got man of the month, man of the year. It was like straight A's, straight A's, straight A's. Major difference, yes sir, major difference, yes. They also have academic teachers at their school. If your kid grade goes from an A to a B, B to a C, your academic coach will notify you immediately and let you know that that grade has dropped, or this assignment has not been turned in, or this is what's going on.
We can always pull out a couple of unicorns or success stories out of a program, but let's look at holistically where our kids succeeding, and our kids are succeeding in our public schools.
Lawmakers begin the process of funding education amid uncertainty over tribal gaming fees, which accounted for around $130 million for education last year. Ed Murray, the Oklahoma News Report.